You know that feeling when your auto insurance bill lands and somehow it's just higher again.
Ugh, yeah, even if you haven't had a single issue, not even a tiny scratch.
Exactly. And you hear these stats like the national average climbing, what, 24% a year?
It's pretty steep.
No.
In some places like California, they're talking like 54% increases potentially coming up soon.
Wow. It really makes you wonder, especially if you are a safe driver,
Yeah,
Is there like a better way?
it absolutely does. And that feeling of, well, unfairness. It's understandable for careful drivers,
Hmm.
but the good news is people are exploring different models.
Which brings us right to our deep dive today. Good driver mutuality, GDM for short.
Mhm.
Now, first thing, super important. This is not insurance like we usually think of it.
It's a key distinction, yeah. It's
Uh,
more like a cooperative, a modern one driven by tech.
Right, a community, they call it,
Mm.
where good drivers, people they specifically vet, share the costs for collision and comprehensive stuff.
And comprehensive, just to clarify, that usually covers things like theft, vandalism, storm damage, stuff not from a collision.
Gotcha.
And this idea, mutual aid, it's not new, actually. It has deep roots, historically. Community supporting members.
Before giant insurance companies became the norm.
Pretty much. GDM is kind of bringing that back, using today's technology and really focusing on rewarding those good driving habits. It's members supporting members, essentially.
And here's the kicker for you, the listener, the potential savings. We're talking maybe up to 40%.
That's what they aim for, yes. For drivers with good records.
Because the idea is, well, simple, but kind of powerful. If you're a safe driver, why pay the same into the pot for accidents as someone who isn't?
Exactly. With GDM, you're mainly chipping in for the actual costs that happen within that specific community of other safe drivers.
It's a different way of looking at risk, isn't it?
Completely. Traditional insurance pools everyone.
Yeah.
Good drivers, risky drivers, all together. So safer drivers often end up subsidizing the higher costs from others.
Yeah.
GDM tries to build a pool that's just inherently lower risk because they're selective. So the costs should be distributed more, let's say, equitably for those members.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's dive into the mechanics. How does it actually work financially? I know there's a fee involved.
Yeah, there is. So for each 6-month term, you pay a service fee up front. That's 20% of your total quote.
20%, okay.
And the rest, the other 80%, that's set aside as your pledge. That's the pool of money your share of any community accident costs would come from if needed.
So you pay the 20% fee and the 80%.
Precisely. And here's where the savings often kick in. Typically, members only end up sharing maybe 30 to 40% of that 80% pledge amount over the 6 months.
Oh, okay, so not the whole 80%.
Usually not. No, the info we looked at had a good example. Someone
Yeah.
got a quote for, say, $1,036.
Right.
Their 20% service fee was $277. The pledge was $829.
Okay.
Over the 6 months, maybe the actual shared costs only require them to contribute $162 out of that $820 pledge.
Ah, I see.
So their total cost was the $270 fee plus that $162 share, $362 total.
Instead of the original $1,036 quote, that's a big difference.
Yeah, in that example, it works out to like $667 saved, or about 64% less than the initial quote. It shows the potential.
That's definitely compelling. So what kind of incidents? What's actually covered by GDM?
It's focused on those collision and comprehensive events. So yeah, damage if you hit another car, a fence or something.
Okay. Collision.
Natural disasters like hail or floods, heft of the car, vandalism, fire damage, even windshield repair or replacement.
Windshields too. Good.
And they also mention transportation assistance. So help with taxi rides or a rental car if yours is out of action because of something covered.
That seems pretty comprehensive, covering the big stuff. Now, the name Good Driver Mutuality really emphasizes the good driver part.
Oh.
How do they make sure it's a community of safe drivers? Because that seems key to the savings.
Absolutely fundamental. Yeah, they're very focused on building and maintaining that. They select members based on driving records, on their merits as a driver.
So they check your record.
Yes. The specific details are apparently in their app when you get a quote, but the whole point is to bring together responsible drivers who are just statistically less likely to have incidents.
Makes sense. Fewer claims within the group?
Means lower shared costs for everyone in that group. It's a direct link.
It's proactive. I like that. Now, you mentioned tech earlier. I saw something about AI. How does artificial intelligence fit in?
Right. They seem to use AI strategically to keep their operations really lean and efficient.
How so?
Well, they highlight it as a way to keep overhead low. Think about traditional insurers, huge advertising budgets, big offices, lots of staff.
Yeah, those ads are everywhere.
Exactly. GDM seems to focus more on referrals for growth and uses tech, AI included, to streamline things behind the scenes. They suggest this efficiency contributes to like 20% savings right off the bat for members.
So smart tech helps keep their costs down, which helps keep member costs down.
That's the idea, yeah, passing those operational savings along.
Okay, so what if something does happen? You need a repair. What's the process? Do they have preferred shops?
They do. They mention a nationwide network, over 5,000 repair shops that they've vetted.
Vetted how?
They emphasize quality. Shops need certifications like ICAR. They need to follow EPA and OSHA standards, things like that.
Okay, so quality control.
Right. And they offer a lifetime warranty on the repairs for as long as you own the car. Plus, they talk about fair and transparent pricing within that network.
In partners, I think I saw some names mentioned.
Yeah, they partner with some well-known companies like
Mm-hmm.
Copart for handling salvage vehicles, CCC Intelligent Solutions for managing the repair process, Mitchell for valuing total losses, and Safelite for auto glass.
So established players in the auto industry.
Suggests they've thought through the whole repair ecosystem, yeah.
Sounds pretty buttoned up. Now, you mentioned referrals helping them grow. Is there like a benefit for members who refer people?
Yes, definitely. They have a referral program. Members get rewarded for bringing in other good drivers.
Ah, reinforcing the model.
Exactly. It helps grow the community with the right kind of members. And they also have an affiliate program, apparently. With ways to earn more based on referrals and doing some training, it really encourages building that safe driver network.
Smart. Grow the community the right way. So who can actually join? Is it for everyone? Any restrictions?
Generally, they say most standard cars and drivers in the U.S. can apply, but there are some exclusions.
Like what?
Things like really high-end luxury cars, vehicles used for business, think Uber or delivery antique cars, and motorcycles. Those are out,
Okay, so mostly standard personal vehicles.
pretty much. And another important thing, you still need your state's mandatory liability insurance. GDM covers the collision and comprehensive side, not the liability part you're legally required to have.
Right, that's crucial. Liability is separate.
Yes. And the best way to know for sure if you and your car qualify is to just download their app. It walks you through getting a quote and lists all the specific criteria.
The app is the place to go for specifics. Good tip. Now, trying something different like this, people might worry about transparency or, data security. What do they say about that?
They address both. For transparency, they mention members can see details about shared events within the app, like what happened, costs involved, but all the personal info is anonymized, kept private.
So you can see how the community funds are being used generally.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Gives you a window into it.
Yeah.
And for security, they state they use strong encryption and work with major U.S. cloud and payment companies to protect personal and payment data. Standard but important security measures.
Good. Peace of mind matters there. Okay, one last but really important scenario. What if you have a car loan or a lease? Lenders usually require full insurance.
Excellent point, and they're clear about this. GDM is not a replacement for lender-required full collision and comprehensive coverage in those cases.
So how does it work then?
It acts as secondary protection. If you have an accident, you'd file with your main lender-required insurance first. Then GDM could potentially help cover your out-of-pocket costs, like your deductible.
Ah, okay. So it works alongside the required insurance, potentially covering the deductible gap.
Exactly. It complements it, rather than replacing it if you have a loan or lease that mandates full coverage.
That's a vital distinction for a lot of people. Okay, so wrapping things up. It really sounds like for people who are safe, careful drivers, tired of those climbing premiums, Good Driver Mutuality presents a really interesting alternative for handling collision and comprehensive costs.
It certainly does. The potential savings that focus on creating a community of good drivers, using tech efficiently, the quality repair network, it all points to a model that could really benefit the right person.
It definitely encourages a different way of thinking about sharing risk, doesn't it?
It does. It sort of poses a question for you, the listener. If you're a good driver, could this community-focused, tech-enabled approach be the smarter, more affordable way you've been looking for?
A question worth considering. So, if this deep dive into Good Driver Mutuality has sparked your interest and you think you fit that good driver profile and want to see those potential savings,
Definitely check it out.
be sure to get back with the specialist who sent you here to try their products or join them today. Oh, by the way, if you're not interested in the products or income opportunity from the specialist, they do have a surefire way for you to earn a substantial extra income within days as opposed to months and months More food for thought. You will not have to pick up the phone to try and close sales. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.